አሜሪካ ለተከታታይ 13 ምሽቶች በኢራን ላይ ስታደርሰው የነበረውን ጥቃት ድንገት ስታቆም በርካቶች የተለያዩ ጥያቄዎችን ማንሳታቸውን ይቀጥላሉ። ከጦርነት ረብጣ ቢሊዮን ዶላር በአንድ ምሽት የሚያጋብሱ ግዙፍ የነዳጅና የጦር መሳሪያ አምራች ኩባንያዎች እንደ ሎክሂድ ማርቲን፣ ጀነራል ዳይናሚክስ፣ አርቴክስ ኮርፖሬሽን፣ ኖርትሮፕ ግሩማን ያሉት ተፈራርተው ነው በሚል ጦርነቱ እንዲቀጥል ፍላጎታቸው ቢሆንም ቅን አሳቢዎች ግን ምንም ይሁን ጦርነቱ መቆሙን በበጎ ይወስዱታል። ኒውዮርክ ታይምስ ፕሬዚዳንት ዶናልድ ትራምፕ በቴህራን ላይ የሚፈጸመውን ጥቃት ለማቆም የተገደዱት የሚሳኤል ስርዓቶችን እያሟጠጡ በመሆናቸው ነው። ለዚህም ከጉዳዩ ጋር እጅጉን ቅርበት ካላቸው ቁልፍ ባለስልጣናት መረጃው ደርሶኛል ሲል በአንድ በኩል ሲያስነበብ፣ በሌላ በኩል ሪፐብሊካኑ ምን ሲደረግ አሜሪካን የሚያህል ታላቅ ሀገር አንድ ኢራን ላይ ጥቃት ከፈትኩ ብላ ሚሳኤሏን ትጨርሳለች ከኃይል ምንተወቅ በሚል ሲያስተባብሉ፣ ገለልተኛ ፖለቲካን የሚያራምዱ ለዘብተኞች ደግሞ አሜሪካ ተገዳዳሪዎቿ እየበዙ በመምጣታቸው በዋነኝነት ሩሲያና ቻይናን በስጋት መልክ እያየች በመሆኑ ለክፉም ለደጉም ሚሳኤሎቻችን ለምን መካከለኛው ምስራቅ ላይ ያልቃሉ የሚል ግንዛቤ አላቸውናም ውጥረቱን ወደ መቀነስ ገቡ በሚል ሊያስቀምጡት ይሞክራሉ።
Members of Congress have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's really an honor. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, First Lady of the United States.
እጅጉን የተወሳሰበ ፖለቲካ እንዳለ ይነገራል። በዚህ ሁሉ ንትርክ ውስጥም ቢሆን ያለፉት 3 ምሽቶች በመካከለኛው ምስራቅ ላይ የሚሳኤል ድምጾች በተወሰነ መጠናቸው ቀንሷል። ለድርድሩም በሩ ተከፍቷል። ይዘልቃሉ የሚለው ጥያቄ እንዳለ ሆኖ ሁኔታዎች ለጊዜው በበጎም በስጋትም እየቀጠሉ ይገኛል። ፕሬዚዳንት ዶናልድ ትራምፕ የጦር መሳሪያ እጥረት የለብንም ይላሉ። ኒውዮርክ ታይምስ ደግሞ የሚሳኤል ስርዓት ምንጮች ሳይቀሩ በመድረቅ ላይ ናቸው። አቅርቦቱን በመቀነስ ሂደት ላይ በመሆኑ የአሜሪካ ፖለቲከኞች የብልህ ውሳኔ አሳልፈዋል። እሱም ጦርነቱን መግታት በሚል አስነብቦታል። የፔንታጎን የጦር አማካሪዎች ውጥረቱን እያሰፉ መሄድ የአሜሪካን ፓትሪዮት መከላከያ ስርዓት ክምችት ያዳክማል በሚል ማስጠንቀቂያ ለመስጠትም ተገደዋል የሚል መረጃ ወጥቷል። ቴህራንና ዋሽንግተን የሰኔ 17 ባለ 14 ነጥብ ስምምነትን ከተፈራረሙ በኋላ ለ2 ተከታታይ ሳምንታት የዘለቁበትን ጦርነት በአሜሪካ አማካኝነት የገቱበት ምክንያት ይህ ተደርጎ የሚወሰድም ሆኗል።
Second Lady of the United States. Members of Congress and my fellow Americans, our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
በተለይም ፕሬዚዳንት ዶናልድ ትራምፕ ሁቲዎች በሳውዲ አረቢያ ላይ የወሰዱትን እርምጃ ተከትሎ አንሳራላሆችና ቴህራኖች የከፋ ወታደራዊ ቅጣት ጠብቃቸዋል፣ እሱንም እናደርጋለን፣ በኢራን ላይ ታይቶ በማይታወቅ መንገድ የሚሳኤል ውርጅብኝ ከሰሞኑ በሚል ለአክሲዮስ ይፋ ባደረጉ ማግስት ወደ ድርድር አቋም ውስጥ መግባታቸውን በማሳየነትም የሚወስዱ ተበራክተዋል።
Sadly, even as our service members are fighting bravely to protect America abroad, the Democrat minority in Congress is deliberately sabotaging our national security at home. And you're going through it right now, fellas. I mean, you're going through, it's not even believable. You know, we should be very safe right now, especially when we're attacking somebody that's evil, bad intention. But last week, 53 House Democrats voted against a resolution affirming that Iran remains the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Who the hell would do that? I mean, almost every act, whether it's Hamas or Hezbollah, no matter what, you take a look, it's Iran or Iran sponsored. And even more outrageously, as we speak, Democrats have shut down the Department of Homeland Security. They've got it shut down. Do you believe it? Right now. Because they care more about amnesty for illegal alien criminals than about protecting the lives of American citizens. Take a look at it. The American citizen is being scoffed at.
ትራምፕ ወደዚህኛው አቋም የተመለሱት ከፍተኛ አማካሪዎቻቸውና የካቢኔ ባለስልጣናት ስብሰባ ካደረጉ በኋላ እንደሆነም መረጃው ይጠቁማል። የተለያዩ አየር መከላከያ ስርዓቶች እንዲሁም ፓትሪዮት እየተመናመኑ መሄዳቸውን ተከትሎ በውይይቱ ዙሪያ መረጃው እንዲኖራቸው የተደረገ የቅርብ ምንጮች መካከለኛው ምስራቃዊ ጦርነት እየሰፋ በሄደ ቁጥር ሌላ ቀጠናን የመንካቱ ነገር መስጋት፣ የአሜሪካ አጋሮች በተለይም የባህር ሰላጤው ሀገራት በኢራን አጸፋ የመጠቃት ተጋላጭነታቸው ገሃድ የሆነ መሄድ፣ የዓለም አቀፉ ምጣኔ ሀብት እየወደቀ መቀጠል፣ ደገ የመጣው የኃይል ዋጋ ንረት እንዲሁም የፍልሰተኞች ቁጥር ከፍ ማለት እንደ ተጨማሪ ጦርነቱን ለማቆም አስገዳጅ ሁኔታዎች ተወስደዋል የሚል አመክንዮ መኖሩ ተነግሯቸዋል።
By Democrats, it doesn't make sense. None of their stuff makes sense to me, you know, when they sat and they wouldn't stand up for incredible people. They just refused to clap, stand up. By the end of the speech, by the way, they were all standing because somebody was passing them. No, you people are getting killed tonight. They'd stand up for everything I was saying. At the end, that last half hour, they were standing up for things that they shouldn't have stood up for because they got the word, you're getting killed tonight. Stand up and clap for the woman that just lost her daughter, please, to a violent criminal. But Democrats must vote immediately to reopen the Department of Homeland Security so that we have the resources to keep America safe. And under our pro-America, pro-worker, pro-family agenda, our country is winning again and America is respected again. And I think we have a country that's as hot as it's ever been, ever before, maybe hotter. And I say it all the time. The King of Saudi Arabia said it to me better than anybody could say it. He said, you know, I get along with him very well, very smart person. He said, you know, a year and a half ago, your country was dead. Absolutely dead. We never thought it was coming back. And now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. It's true. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world, by far. And that's before we showed off our military strength with Venezuela and now with Iran. You know, Iran was supposed to be this big, powerful country. We wrapped the hell out of them. And, you know, I don't know when they cry uncle, but they should have cried it 2 days ago, right? But they don't have anything left. In our country, inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising. The economy is surging. Our border is the most secure at any time in American history. And the murder rate is the lowest in 125 years. That's before my father was born. My father was born 6 years later than that. I don't know if he'd like me to say that. Never liked to talk about his age. He said, don't talk about that. But think about 125 years ago, 1900, the year 1900. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election, and it's going to go a lot higher as soon as we get rid of this stuff that we're doing right now, that we really had no choice. I mean, I asked people, I said, would you rather do this or would you rather go along nice and smoothly, but eventually have a catastrophe the likes of which perhaps the world has never seen? And just about everybody says, except for lunatics, said, no, you had to get it done. Should have been done a long time ago. The average 401k is up almost $35,000. Think of that. It's at the best they've ever done. And I think you're going to see some real numbers when this gets, because this was always a dark cloud hanging over not only Israel, which was going to get wiped out. You know, if we didn't do that B-2 attack, Israel would have been wiped out. They would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks after that. And even now, I think they were looking to take over the Middle East because when you look, and we have pretty good proof, all of those missiles that were so stupidly aimed at Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, they were all aimed, and others, at countries that were sort of like, leave us alone. They were all right. They were sort of neutral, but they weren't doing it. All of a sudden, they're getting hit with missiles. And they could have gone one of two ways. They could have gone toward their side, like, we're with you, or they could have gone with our side, and they really went with our side, and they've helped us, and they've been a big force. But they got hit. But they were going to be hit with us. Had we not done the B-2 raid, and if we not done this one, where we said, nope, it's time to go in. We have to go in, have no choice. Number one, if we didn't go in, they would have come in after us because I see the Democrats trying to justify it, and they're failing because the voter on the street is saying, "You got to be kidding." But I see where they're going, where they're always saying, no, there was no reason. Well, I'll give you the best reason of all. Within a week, they were going to attack us 100%. They were ready. They had all these missiles, far more than anyone thought, and they were going to attack us. But they were going to attack all of the Middle East and Israel, and if they had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it on Israel. And this was going to be a major attack. And they had all of those missile sites and all those launchers that we got rid of about 80% of them right now, by the way. Got rid of most of the, see, it's died down to a trickle. There are very few launchers left. What our military has done is amazing. They wiped out almost 20%, maybe 22, 23%, but the rest are going very quickly. And the missiles have been largely knocked out. The drones have been knocked down, and we're hitting where they make the drones. We know them all, and we're knocking the hell out of that now where they manufacture the drones. A lot of work, a lot of brilliant work, but we're going to have a much safer world as soon as it's finished, and it's going to be finished pretty quickly.
የጋራ አሊያም ጥምር ወታደራዊ አዛዡ ሊቀመንበር ጀነራል ዳንኬን ለአሜሪካ ማዕከላዊ እዝ ማለትም በመካከለኛው ምስራቅ፣ ሰሜን አፍሪካና በኤዥያ ሁለት ቀጠናዎች በጥቅሉ በ21 ሀገራት ላይ የሚንቀሳቀሰው የሚሳኤል ስርዓቶቹ ይመናመኑበታል የሚል ከፍተኛ ማስጠንቀቂያም ከዚህ ቀደም መስጠታቸው የሚዘነጋ አይደለም።
11 months ago, I inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it. When I took office, inflation was the worst in 48 years, and some would say in the history of our country, which caused prices to be higher than ever before, making life unaffordable for millions and millions of Americans. This happened during a Democrat administration, and it's when we first began hearing the word affordability. Our border was open, and because of this, our country was being invaded by an army of 25 million people, many who came from prisons and jails, mental institutions, and insane asylums. They were drug dealers, gang members, and even 11,888 murderers, more than 50% of whom killed more than one person. This is what the Biden administration allowed to happen to our country, and it can never be allowed to happen again. We had men playing in women's sports, transgender for everybody, crime at record levels with law enforcement, and words such as that just absolutely forbidden. We had the worst trade deals ever made, and our country was laughed at from all over the world. But they're not laughing anymore. Over the past 11 months, we have brought more positive change to Washington than any administration in American history. There's never been anything like it, and I think most would agree. I was elected in a landslide, winning the popular vote and all 7 swing states and everything else, with a mandate to take on a sick and corrupt system that really just took the wealth from people and crushed the dreams of the American people. For the last 4 years, the United States was ruled by politicians who fought only for insiders, illegal aliens, career criminals, corporate lobbyists, prisoners, terrorists, and above all, foreign nations, which took advantage of us at levels never seen before. They flooded your cities and towns with illegal aliens. They decimated your hard-earned savings. They indoctrinated your children with hate for America. They just released a level of violent felons that we had never seen to prey on innocent. They caused war. They caused mayhem. They caused a horrible situation all over the globe. But now you have a president who fights for the law-abiding, hard-working people of our country, the ones who make this nation run, who make this nation work. And after just 1 year, we have achieved more than anyone could have imagined. Starting on day one, I took immediate action to stop the invasion of our southern border. For the past 7 months, 0 illegal aliens have been allowed into our country, a feat which everyone said was absolutely impossible. Do you remember when Joe Biden said that he needed Congress to pass legislation to help close the border? He was always blaming Congress and everyone else. As it turned out, We didn't need legislation. We just needed a new president. We inherited the worst border anywhere in the world, and we quickly turned it into the strongest border in the history of our country. In other words, in a few short months, we went from worst to best. We're deporting criminals, restoring safety to our most dangerous cities. Just take a look at Washington, D.C. It's at levels of safety that we've never seen before. And they decimated the bloodthirsty foreign drug cartels. We did that all by ourselves with our people, and we're so proud of it because they were poisoning and destroying our population. Drugs brought in by ocean and by sea are now down 94%. We have broken the grip of sinister woke radicals in our schools, and control over those schools is back now in the hand.
ምንም እንኳን ዘመቻው በአካባቢው ተጠናክሮ መቀጠል እንዳለበት ዳንኬን ቢያምኑም የጦር መሳሪያ እጥረቱ ደግሞ አደገኛ ጣጣ ሊፈጥር እንደሚችል ማሳያ አድርገው አምነውበታል። ቃል አቀባያቸው በዚህ ጉዳይ ላይ ሀሳብ እንዲሰጡ ተጠይቀዋል። ምንም እንኳን በጉዳዩ ላይ ይለፈኝን ቢመርጡም ተብሏል። በዛ ላይ ቴህራን ላይ ጥቃት ማድረስ ጠላት ማብዛት ወደ ድርድር ከማምጣት ይልቅ ጥቃቷን ታበረታ የማድረግ ነው የሚል ወታደራዊ አረዳድ ፔንታጎን ውስጥም ተፈጥሯል። የጦር ሚኒስትሩ ፔታግ ሰተም ቢሆኑ ይህ አረዳድ አላቸው ተብሏል። የዋይት ሀውስ የኮሚኒኬሽን ዳይሬክተር ለኒውዮርክ ታይምስ ፕሬዚዳንቱ የሚመርጡት ዲፕሎማሲያዊ መፍትሄ ነው። ያም ሆኖ ግን ሁሉም አማራጮች በእጃቸው ላይ ነው። ኢራን በሆርሙዝ ሰርጥ የምታደርገውን ትንኮሳ ካላቆመች የሚል ሀሳብ ደግሞ አጋርተዋል።
We'll be hitting that area probably pretty soon.
ሚያዝያ ላይ የስትራቴጂክና ዓለም አቀፍ ጥናቶች ማዕከል በመጀመሪያው ዘመቻ ላይ 45 በመቶ የሚሆነው የአሜሪካ ኢላማ ጠብቆ አውዳሚ ሚሳኤል ጥቅም ላይ ውለዋል። ግማሽ የሚሆኑ ፓትሪዮት ስርዓቶች እንዲሁም ከግማሽ በላይ ታድ የሚሳኤል ስርዓቶች ከዛም ባሻገር 30 በመቶ የቶማሃውክ ክሩዝ ሚሳኤሎች ጥቅም ላይ ውለዋል የሚል ጥናቱን ማስቀመጡም ይታወሳል።
Where education belongs. After rebuilding the United States military in my first term, and with the addition we are adding right now, we have the most powerful military anywhere in the world, and it's not even close. I've restored American strength, settled 8 wars in 10 months, destroyed the Iran nuclear threat, and ended the war in Gaza, bringing for the first time in 3,000 years peace to the Middle East, and secured the release of the hostages, both living and dead. Here at home, we're bringing our economy back from the brink of ruin. The last administration and their allies in Congress looted our treasury for trillions of dollars, driving up prices and everything at levels never seen before. I am bringing those high prices down and bringing them down very fast. Let's look at the facts. Under the Biden administration, car prices rose 22% and in many states 30% or more. Gasoline rose 30 to 50%. Hotel rates rose 37%. Airfares rose 31%. Now under our leadership, they are all coming down and coming down fast. Democrat politicians also sent the cost of groceries soaring, but we are solving that too. The price of a Thanksgiving turkey was down 33% compared to the Biden last year. The price of eggs is down 82% since March, and everything else is falling rapidly. And it's not done yet, but boy, are we making progress. Nobody can believe what's going on. Here are just some of the efforts that we have underway. You will see in your wallets and bank accounts in the new year. After years of record-setting falling incomes, our policies are boosting take-home pay at a historic pace. Under Biden, real wages plummeted by $3,000. Under Trump, the typical factory worker has seen a wage increase of $1,300. For construction workers, it's $1,800. For miners, we're bringing back clean, beautiful coal. It's $3,300. And for the first time in years, wages are rising much faster than inflation. Remember that. The wages, just look at it. Wages are going up much faster than inflation. How big is that? Very importantly, there are more people working today than at any time in American history, and 100% of all jobs created since I took office have been in the private sector. Think of that. 100% of all jobs have been in the private sector rather than government, which is the only way to make a country powerful and great. This historic trend will continue. Already, I've secured a record-breaking $18 trillion of investment into the United States, which means jobs, wage increases, growth, factory openings, and far greater national security. Much of this success has been accomplished by tariffs. My favorite word, tariffs, which for many decades have been used successfully by other countries against us, but not anymore. Companies know that if they build in America, there are no tariffs, and that's why they're coming home to the USA in record numbers. They're building factories and plants at levels we haven't seen, AI, automobiles. We're doing what nobody thought was even possible, not even remotely possible. There has never, frankly, been anything like it. 1 year ago, our country was dead. We were absolutely dead. Our country was ready to fail, totally failed. Now,
በእርግጥ ውድነታቸው አደገኛ ቀውስ ሊፈጥር እንደሚችል የአሜሪካ ፖለቲከኞችም የሚያምኑበት ጉዳይ ነው። ታድ ተርሚናል ሃይ አልቲቱድ ኤሪያ ዲፌንስ የሚሳይል ስርዓት እጅጉን የተራቀቀ የአሜሪካ ጸረ ባሊስቲክ ሚሳይል መከላከያ እንደሆነ ዓለም ታውቀዋለች። አሜሪካም እንዳይኗ ብሬን ትወስደዋለች። ቢያንስ አንዱ ታድ እስከ 12.6 ሚሊዮን የአሜሪካ ዶላር የሚፈጅ ጠቅላላ ባትሪው ደግሞ እስከ 1 ቢሊዮን የአሜሪካ ዶላር የሚወስድ የሎክሂድ ማርቲን ቴክኖሎጂ መሆኑ በርካቶች የሚያምኑበት ነው። አንድ ቶማሃውክ ክሩዝ ሚሳይልም ከ2 ሚሊዮን እስከ 3.6 ሚሊዮን ዶላር የሚያወጣም ሆኖ ወታደራዊ ቀውሱንና ዋጋውን የዋዛ አያድርገውም። ለዚህም ሳይሆን አይቀርም ምንም እንኳን ከዚህ በላይ ሊሆን ይችላል ቢባልም የጦር ሚኒስትሩ ፔታክሰት ከ37.5 ቢሊዮን ዶላር በላይ አውጥተናል ያሉት። በእርግጥ ፕሬዚዳንት ዶናልድ ትራምፕ የጦር መሳሪያ ስርዓት እጥረት አልገጠመንም በሚል እሁድ ከሰዓት ሲሞግቱ ተስተውለዋል። አሜሪካ እጅጉን የተትረፈረፈ የጦር መሳሪያ ክምችት እንዳላት ሊታወቅ ይገባል በሚል ትራምፕ ዝተዋል። 6 መርከቦች ጉዞ እንዲያቋርጡ ኢራን ሆርሙዝ ላይ ማድረጓም፣ በበብ አልመንደብ ላይ ያለው ሰርጥ መዘጋት እንዲሁም የመርከቦች ጉዞ መቀነስ፣ የቀይ ባህር ውጥረት እየጨመረ መምጣት፣ አዲሱ የዩናይትድ ኪንግደም ጠቅላይ ሚኒስትር ሁቲዎች በቀይ ባህር ሳውዲ ላይ ኢላማ ማድረጋቸውን ማውገዛቸው፣ አሁንም ሆርሙዝ ላይ ጥቃቶች አልፎ አልፎ መታየታቸው ነገሮች መልካቸው ሊለውጡ እንደሚችሉ ግልጽ ማሳያም ሆነው የሚወሰዱ ናቸው።
Anywhere in the world. And that's said by every single leader that I've spoken to over the last 5 months. Next year, you will also see the results of the largest tax cuts in American history that were really accomplished through our great, big, beautiful bill, perhaps the most sweeping legislation ever passed in Congress. We wrapped 12 different bills up into one beautiful bill. That includes no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. Under these cuts, many families will be saving between $11,000 and $20,000 a year, and next spring is projected to be the largest tax refund season of all time. Because of tariffs, along with the just passed One Big Beautiful Bill, tonight I am also proud to announce that more than 1,450,000, think of this, 1,450,000 military service members will receive a special, we call Warrior Dividend before Christmas, a Warrior Dividend. In honor of our nation's founding in 1776, we are sending every soldier $1,776. Think of that. And the checks are already on the way. Nobody understood that one until about 30 minutes ago. We made a lot more money than anybody thought because of tariffs, and the bill helped us along. Nobody deserves it more than our military, and I say congratulations to everybody. And by the way, we now have record enlistment in our military, and last year we had among the worst recruitment numbers in our military's history. What a difference a year makes. In addition, I'm doing what no politician of either party has ever done, standing up to the special interest to dramatically reduce the price of prescription drugs. I negotiated directly with the drug companies and foreign nations, which were taking advantage of our country for many decades, to slash prices on drugs and pharmaceuticals by as much as 400, 500, and even 600%. In other words, your drug costs will be plummeting downward, and I used the threat of tariffs to get foreign countries who would never have done it to pay the cost of this giant dollar reduction. They stopped ripping us off, and it began as of 4 days ago. There has never been anything like this in the history of our country. Drugs have only gone up, but now they'll be going down by numbers never conceived possible. It's called Most Favored Nation, and no president has ever had the courage or ability to get this done until now. The first of these unprecedented price reductions will be available starting in January through a new website, trumprx.gov. And these big price cuts will greatly reduce the cost of health care. I'm also taking on the gigantic health insurance companies that have gotten rich on billions of dollars of money that should go directly to the people. The money should go to the people, that's you, so they can buy their own health insurance, which will give far better benefits at much lower costs. It will be far better health insurance. The current Unaffordable Care Act was created to make insurance companies rich. It was bad health care at much too high a cost, and you see that now in the steep increase in premiums being demanded by the Democrats, and they are demanding those increases, and it's their fault. It is not the Republicans' fault. It's the Democrats' fault. It's the Unaffordable Care Act, and everybody knew it. Again, I want the money to go directly to the people so you can buy your own health care. You'll get much better health care at a much lower price. The only losers will be insurance companies that have gotten rich, and the Democrat Party, which is totally controlled by those same insurance companies. They will not be happy, but that's okay with me because you, the people, are finally going to be getting great health care at a lower cost. Another major focus is the cost of energy. For years, the radical left Democrats exploited the green energy scam as an excuse to funnel many billions of dollars into their own massive slush funds as their energy restrictions drastically drove up prices, and they drove them up at record levels. Electricity costs surged 30 to 100% under Biden, and the typical family lost $5,000 to $10,000 in higher energy costs. Think of that, $5,000 to $10,000 you lost. On day one, I declared a national energy emergency. Gasoline is now under $2.50 a gallon in much of the country. In some states, it, by the way, just hit $1.99 a gallon. And within the next 12 months, we will have opened 1,600 new electrical generating plants, a record, and it's a record that won't be beaten by practically, I would say, by anybody, or certainly not very soon. Prices on electricity and everything else will fall dramatically. The Democrat inflation disaster, again, the worst in the history of our country, also robbed millions of Americans of home ownership and indeed the American dream. The yearly cost of a typical new mortgage increased by $15,000 under Democrat rule. In 11 months, we've already gotten that annual cost down by $3,000, and it's coming down a lot lower. Wait till you see. The numbers are going to be shocking. And I'll soon announce our next chairman of the Federal Reserve, someone who believes in lower interest rates by a lot, and mortgage payments will be coming down even further. Early the new year, and you will see this, in the new year I will announce some of the most aggressive housing reform plans in American history. A major factor in driving up housing costs was the colossal border invasion. We have never been invaded. This is the worst thing that, frankly, in my opinion, the worst thing that the Biden administration did to our country is the invasion at the border. The last administration and their allies in Congress brought in millions and millions of migrants and gave them taxpayer-funded housing while your rent and housing costs skyrocketed. Over 60% of growth in the rental market came from foreign migrants. At the same time, illegal aliens stole American jobs and flooded emergency rooms, getting free health care and education paid for by you, the American taxpayer. They also increased the cost of law enforcement by numbers so high that they are not even to be mentioned. For the first time in 50 years, we are now seeing reverse migration as migrants go back home, leaving more housing and more jobs for Americans. In the year before my election, all net creation of jobs was going to foreign migrants. Since I took office, 100% of all net job creation has gone to American-born citizens, 100%. In the end, government either serves the productive, patriotic, hardworking American citizen, or it serves those who break the laws, cheat the system, and seek power and profit at the expense of our nation. Look at Minnesota, where Somalians have taken over the economics of the state and have stolen billions and billions of dollars from Minnesota and indeed from the United States of America. And we're going to put an end to it. For so long as before my election, the vast majority of good and decent Americans were forced to watch as corrupt politicians plundered the halls of power, exploited our taxpayers, and pillaged every system that makes civilized society function. But not anymore, and you see that every day, not anymore. We're putting America first, and we are making America great again. Very simple. We are making America great again. Tonight, after 11 months, our border is secure. Inflation is stopped. Wages are up. Prices are down. Our nation is strong. America is respected, and our country is back, stronger than ever before. We're poised for an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen. Soon we will host the World Cup and the Olympics, both of which I got, but most importantly, we will celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. There could be no more fitting tribute to this epic milestone than to complete the comeback of America that began just 1 year ago. When the world looks at us next year, let them see a nation that is loyal to its citizens, faithful to its workers, confident to its identity, certain to its destiny, and the envy of the entire globe. We are respected again like we have never been respected before. To each and every one of you, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. God bless you all.